I don't know. That sounds like he's open to leaving, or I'm not sure. But look, I'm of the opinion they need to be open to moving on from Antonio Brown. He and Big Ben, I think, at this point are oil and water, and I hear Marquise Pouncey putting some pressure, in my opinion, on Big Ben to make peace here. And maybe the organization wants him to make peace so that it will enhance Antonio Brown's trade value. Because if everybody knows, well, they're getting rid of him, he has less trade value. If they can create the belief that, we're going to try to retain him, his value goes up.
When you're arguing with someone, you're in that tug of war, remind yourself why you're holding the rope in the first place. And I think a lot of times in arguments, we get caught up in the win and the loss of the argument and forget, why in the hell am I even going?
Did you learn this in counseling?
It's serious.
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure.
Can we get your counselor to Pittsburgh? that might be the way.
Right, we're going to fire him out on Fox now, right? Get him out there. In reality, I think that's what's going on here. Like, they finally took a step back, and the emotions started to go away, and you started to see a little clearer of the picture, and you started to realize, this is Antonio Brown. They don't grow on trees every day, every decade. Like, Antonio Brown is amazing. So, yeah, he's a nag. Yeah, he's hard to deal with.
Yeah, he missed games.
Yeah, he missed the game we needed him in. But she's so fine. Like, you've been there? Like, man, she over there. And then you just look at that picture. And
Damn, she looked good.
You want to know how good she looked? Since 2010, let's see how fine this girl is. Since 2010, Antonio Brown, what's them ones over there doing in terms of, you're first in receptions, first receiving yards, and first in touchdowns, all receivers since you got in the league? That's fine.
Why didn't they put headaches up there? He's first in that, too.
Hey, we'll deal with it.
behind OBJ.
We'll deal with it. But my point is, I think they're coming to the realization and to the understanding that we shouldn't let this go unless we exhaust all options. Smart play.
I mean, for me, it is the toothpaste out of the tube already. You can't put it back in. In my opinion, they need to move on because it's too much animosity. It's way too much. You look at the clip when they showed him practicing. Everybody has their jersey and their shoulder pads on. He got his sweater on, yellow and white with 8 and a 4. He was the only one dressed like that. And it's because of who he is, and coaches kind of let you get away with certain things when you are that dude. But AB has all the power. If he wants to go back to Pittsburgh, he's going to be in Pittsburgh. If he wants to leave Pittsburgh, he's leaving. He pretty much can do what he wants to do because Pouncey knows how good he is.
Yeah.
His ability is second to none, but I just don't believe him and Ben can make this work. Once Ben, when they lost to Denver, said, I should have thrown all 4 balls of Juju, that was it. Then you come out I don't think you can rectify that. I don't think you can mend that fence. And to me, open for business to me is like, man, I got to get out of here, man.
Well, I think Le'Veon Bell learned that showed us that the organization has the power. And as much as Antonio may think he has the power, he doesn't control whether he goes or doesn't go. Now, that being said, there's always this equation that you do. How productive is a guy and how big a headache he is. And as long as his production is here and the headaches are here, you move on with them. You deal with those things. But once that starts to come back to even,
what I call it, Coach? I call it the 2 Ps, production and personality. As soon as personality gets above it,
and the late Ted Marchibroda was one of the nicest human beings in the world, sat up in front of the team and said, look, we're going to use you until we can find some way to get rid of you. And he'd tell the guys who were problems that's what was going to happen. He did it in the nicest possible way, and that's the equation. But at the end of the day, these 2 guys are good for each other, and hopefully they can sit down over dinner or something, and like Marcellus said, get to what is the issue? What's the core of this issue, and how can we solve it? Because they work well together on the field.
But see, I think it's got to be bigger than just Ben and Brown and what is the issue. If I'm the Steelers, I'm asking, what's the issue with my team? I have more talent than the New England Patriots. I'm not having as much postseason success as the New England Patriots. What is the difference between us two? And I think Antonio Brown is at the foundation of what's at the difference between these two. And it's reliability.
Why can't it be Big Ben?
It can't. Big Ben could be Big Ben, but again, the organization has already said we're going to give Big Ben a new contract and extend. they're committed to Big Ben. And so now the question becomes, because Big Ben's argument is, and I don't know who's right, is like, oh, I don't get to operate like Tom Brady does. Tom Brady gets to basically dictate to the wide receivers and to the offense, this is what we're doing, and he's not questioned. I question Antonio Brown in any kind of way. He flies off the handle. He skips practices. He's not as reliable, and maybe Juju Schuster-Smith, he gets upset if I feed him the ball too much. Maybe removing Antonio Brown and putting a different receiver in there and elevating Juju to the number one, maybe that's a better solution for the Steelers.
I don't want to waste this moment. We got a man here who was in New England, won 3 championships with them. Just in contrast, what's the difference between New England and their success and that system and everything, the culture, and what you're seeing from a very talented Pittsburgh team that's underachieving?
Well, first of all, Tom Brady doesn't call anybody out. I mean, over the course of his 19 years, how many times have you ever heard him say, hey, this
privately?
No, publicly.
No, publicly he does it. Right?
No, but and look, Tom Brady is inherently coachable. No matter, and everybody in that room is under, you all operate the same. You are all exposed to the same level of coaching, the same level of scrutiny, and to Tom's credit, with success, with fame, with money, with all the things he has, he takes that coaching. And there's a selflessness that permeates the team, where you're going to do your job and you're going to make sure that you do it as well as you possibly can, regardless of your stats. So if that means you're a box safety and you've got to play cover 2, you got to play the deep part of the field, that's what you do, and you accept it for the greater good. And in terms of personalities, have there been personalities in New England? Yeah, but they're sprinkled in, and the locker room is strong enough so that those personalities bend towards the rest of the group, as opposed to there being a core of distractions that bend the group the other way. So, and I think that's the biggest difference.
I mean, if it's about culture, they have to move on. If it's about the team and the culture, they have to move on.